Welcome to the Don't Get Fooled show with Biggie and Ace, NFL Week 14. Let's go, Ace.
All right, boys and girls, NFL Week 14, Big Ree, coming off a juicy Week 13. Me and you went 5-1. Really cleaned house. A lot of the boys and girls cleaned up. Just a really good weekend, you know.
For sure, no doubt.
Cleaned up in college as well, and so just a really good football weekend. We want to continue that momentum for Week 14. I know a lot of viewers have been, DMing me about a lot of stuff regarding the channel and things kind of not directly with the games, bankroll management, money management, hedging, buying points, all this good stuff. So we'll do our best in the future to make some videos about that stuff and give some more knowledge, because I know there's a lot of people that are watching our picks, taking our picks, okay, when we're 5-1 and 8-1 on the weekends, and are still losing for the weekend. You know that? Yeah. For sure. And that's not because of our picks. That's because these guys are, taking our picks, and then they just want more action. They start taking, amateur Japanese women's tennis or something, and, they start taking, live lines on some random 10 o'clock college basketball game of Wagner versus University of Phoenix or something, and
a lot of people are betting on the World Cup right now.
The World Cup too, right? So
I did that and I lost. I was like, that's it. I'm not betting soccer again.
Soccer. I think when you get to the final round of 16, it could be interesting, and then 8. If you know what you're doing. Obviously, I hope some of the viewers took that Saudi Arabia versus Argentina. And I mean, sorry to Argentina fans. I know they were not happy after that loss. I mean, that was embarrassing. Let's call it what it is. That was an embarrassing loss. But the Saudi fans were happy. So plus what? That was what? Plus 22.
25-1.
Ooh,
it was different at different books, but
that's just a juicy payout right
you're
there.
Getting at least 20-1.
But so we'll get into those videos, guys. As we really grow the show, I think there's going to be a big leap, as you guys will see next year for football season. It's going to be big time. It's going to be big time. I'm telling you, cannot wait, because it's it's going to be big. I'll tell you guys that. So just stay tuned. Let's get into recap of NFL. Let's get into before we get into the games, Big Ree, I have to ask you. Got news. Word came out today. Baker Mayfield got waived by the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, what's your thought? Is he going to get picked up? Is his career done?
He'll get signed somewhere.
This year. Will he get signed this year?
I think so. But the reason he did that is obviously, which we're going to get into, is the Jimmy G situation. And he asked for the release. You know that, right?
I read that, yeah.
He asked for it, and that's the whole reason he asked for it.
Because he thinks what?
And because they told him he's not even the backup. He's the third string.
They told him that?
Yeah. Because I think PJ started.
PJ Walker, yeah.
Darnold's the backup.
Okay, yeah. Darnold started.
Yeah, and PJ's the backup.
Yeah, PJ's the...
So he's third string.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's like, okay, release me, and they agreed to it.
Got it. Okay, I guess that makes sense. The question is, does he really think San Francisco is picking him up?
If I'm San Francisco, I'm by all means avoiding him. I'd rather have the guy there.
Purdy?
I'd rather have Purdy at this point.
I mean, he has to have some insider thinking like, hey, if you will pick you up, right?
Yeah.
To request that release. Or think somebody else will pick him up. Maybe the Texans will give him an opportunity in the last 5 games.
Yeah, maybe.
They look like crap.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy, Kyle Allen looks like crap. Davis Mills has too many interceptions. But you think his career's not done?
He can be a backup somewhere.
Yeah. But even I'm a fan of him, but he's got to perform. At the end of the day, he's not performing. If you're losing games, your squad's bad, but his numbers are horrible.
Yeah.
I can't defend that. As much as I want to, I cannot defend his numbers. Okay, let's get into the recap. We had the Bills beat up on the Pats on Thursday night.
I mean, I didn't know which way that game was going, but I mean, I credit to the Bills. I thought the Pats were going to win, honestly. With the spread, the spread was
3.5, right?
3.5, yeah.
And I knew Bills were going to win that game big.
I'm staying away from this game.
That was easy money. Yeah, that was easy money. What about the Steelers? They're winning a few games.
Yeah.
What do you think? Steelers beat up on Falcons. Packers. Let's talk about your Packers. They got a win.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. I mean, they were down early, big. and then just came back. This guy Christian Watson looks real nice.
He does look
killing
nice.
It.
I mean, that's at least some plus for the Packers, that he could be one of, if they get another receiver, it could be the number 1 or 2.
Because he even without throwing, he can run it, because he ran it like a 55-yard touchdown.
Yeah. Well, he looks good, man.
Yeah, so he's like a lethal weapon.
But you're right. They were down big, and then they came back.
Rodgers never wants to lose to the Bears. He always says, "I own the Bears."
That he owns the Bears. Well, and it seems like he continues to. So that was a good game. The Lions and Jags.
Yeah, that was. I mean, Jared Goff.
He went off, and they won 40-16. I mean, that was my pick. I like the Lions, but I'm not going to tell you I predicted a 26-point win. I mean, wow, 40 points. They're capable of 40. They won big there, so that was good. Jaguars, I knew that game. Just Lions, better team. That was a good win for the Lions. They're 5-7. If you remember, do you remember at the beginning of the season on week 1, and everybody, I said, hey, you guys might laugh, but these guys, could be a sneak team to sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think they still can?
Yeah, for 100%.
Dude, that would be so. Bro, if they sneak in, I'm trying to get out to Detroit for the game. Actually, they won't host. They won't host.
Yeah, they won't.
But I would love to try to get to one of those games. Probably not going to make any regular season game this year, but maybe next year for sure. It's on my list. The Vikings and Jets game.
That was really good.
Really good game. The Jets blew that game. They
had it. I kind of like the Jets in that one too.
Yeah, I mean, the Minnesota's kind of an interesting team. We'll see again this week that they are. Minnesota is
1-point dog.
1-point dog against Detroit, right? And they're 10-2.
Yeah.
But Jets had 2 opportunities at the end. They couldn't close it out. So but I said early on, these guys are not a playoff team, the Jets. But even after they were 5-2, I knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. But they had this game, and this would have been a big deal for them to, instead of be 7-5, 8-4. Yeah. That's a huge difference. Giants and Washington, doozy of a game, tie game, 2020. Eagles beat up on Tennessee, 35-10.
Yeah, that was bad. Derrick Henry, 30 yards or something.
Yeah, he didn't play well.
He played terrible.
Hurts, I think it seems like Hurts. This is his MVP to lose.
MVP to lose at this point.
He's played every week. He's putting up the numbers. He had 380 yards.
Yeah.
Career, passing this year, season high. Ravens and Denver.
Yeah, this was a
doozy, a big doozy. Was it 9-3, and then they ended up getting a last-minute touchdown?
Yeah. With
Lamar getting hurt?
Yeah.
And what was his name? Huntley, the backup? They got the touchdown.
Yeah, for sure.
But Denver, what's going on, Big Rig?
That's on the offense. Even though the defense gave that touchdown up at the end, I still blame this game on the offense. You need 11 points to win, pretty much.
I was just talking.
You can't defend that at this point.
You can't. Just what is going on? I'm puzzled, completely puzzled, man, of what's going on with Denver. It's. Then Browns, they beat Texans, but that was an ugly win. They had two defensive touchdowns.
Deshaun didn't look good because all their touchdowns came from defense and special teams.
Yeah. He didn't look good, but I guess expected to be rusty. But then I think the bigger thing was it was in Houston too. They were booing him every play, and so that I don't take too much of that. But he didn't look good, that's for sure. Let's see what else interesting. The Niners beat up on Dolphins.
Yeah, for sure.
You called that game. That was your lock.
Yeah, and without Jimmy G, which is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
that's a big blow.
What's your thought on that now?
I still think they have a chance, but going from 6-1 to 11-1 is a big deal.
Yeah, they're 8-4. They won big with the rookie was Brock Purdy from Iowa State, and he looked serviceable. But Jimmy G's gone. I don't know. But I'm not a big Jimmy G fan, so I don't know how much that really affects him. They got a lot of weapons.
They're saying Matt Ryan should ask for a release, and they should sign him.
Yeah, maybe. That's not bad. But maybe they like Purdy. Maybe they get Baker.
I would stick with Purdy. At this point.
So I don't know what's gonna happen. That's
I don't think they'll stick with Purdy just because he's a rookie.
Yeah.
They did sign Josh Johnson.
Yeah, you said that. I remember you telling me that. So I don't know. They're gonna have to. I think they have to do something.
They have to sign a quarterback no matter what, because they need a backup even if they stick with Purdy.
Yeah, I agree. And they're too good to just say, "Oh, Josh Johnson, let's keep him."
Yeah,
like you gotta have somebody, I think, better than that.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was talking to a Niners fan yesterday about the game, right? And I was telling him about the, I'll get into that story later regarding like, let's just jump. We'll jump into it in a little bit. And so let's get into the Chiefs and Bengals.
Yeah, Joey B
came through with a W against the Chiefs.
My boy.
Good win for them. They were at home. Jamar Chase is returned.
Yeah. 7
receptions, 97 yards, I believe. No touchdowns, but obviously he's a big weapon. Raiders 27-20. This is I'll get into. We'll hold up the Raiders so I can give my story, but like on the Cowboys demolished the Colts 54-19, Big Reed.
33-point quarter.
Holy crap. I don't remember when's the last time I've seen an NFL team put up 54 points.
Yeah.
I know the Chiefs put it a few years ago. The Chiefs put up 50, but I mean 54. Are the Cowboys for real, Big Reed?
You can never say the Cowboys are for real.
I agree. But I know the Cowboy fans are saying that they're real right now, 9-3, and just pounding. They beat up on Minnesota at some, 40-3. So I don't know. I put them in the same category. Like I'm not saying they're for real yet, for sure. But that was a good one. But back to the Raiders and Chargers. Raiders won 27-20. That was my lock of the week. I had the Raiders. But anyhow, I was going to my story. I was talking to a Niners fan, okay, yesterday after the game about, just some games. I talked about how the Raiders, I was telling him how, look, dude, the Raiders got 3 in a row. Josh Jacobs is on a complete tear. Devontae Adams is playing great. And I was like, hey, I think if they can run the table, right, they can make the playoffs. Even if they go 9-8, they might be able to make the wild card. But if they run the table, they're 10-7, right? And he's like, yeah, but they're playing the, but they're playing the, they play. I was like, they play the Chiefs, right, and the Niners or something, right? They play the Chiefs, right? And I was like, yeah, but the Chiefs might sit out their players in the last week. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. If they have it locked up, they're probably going to rest their players,
sure.
right?
That makes sense.
But then he's like, yeah, but they're not beating the Niners. Right? Yeah. And this is a Niners fan, right? And this guy is talking like, oh, they're not beating the Niners. But he said it so confidently, right? I'm not going to name him, but he was so confident, like, oh, yeah, but they're not beating the Niners. Like, it was like an automatic, like they have no chance of beating the Niners. And he was talking like the Niners are 10-2 or something, or 11-1, and they have a Patrick Mahomes or an Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and it's like, dude, these guys, there's almost no chance they're going to win. I mean, and this is knowing that Jimmy G is out for the season. They got Brock Purdy. This guy was so confident. And I was just baffled that and then I figure out you got Brock Purdy as your quarterback. You're 8-4. You're winning games, but you're not blowing people. Yeah, you're on a 5-game winning streak, but this guy was so confident. And then I realized the reason why he's so confident, he's going to the game. He's going to that game against the Raiders in Las Vegas on New Year's Eve weekend.
Yeah.
And so that's why, he's just pumping himself up that, I don't want to go out there for a doozy of a game, go to Vegas on New Year's Eve and lose to the Raiders.
Yeah.
And then get talked to all day long by the Raider fans. So that's what I realized. But it was just so funny, the confidence that this Niner fan had. I mean, just unbelievable. He made it seem like there was no chance there. And then I was gonna try to give my argument, hey, look, the Raiders are a solid team. All their losses are by single digits. 2 points, 3 points, 1 point. These guys could, the Raiders are 5-7, but these guys could easily be right now 8-4, easily. But anyhow, then I realized that this is a very passionate Niners fan, and I just gotta stay away from, let him take the W.
Yeah.
But yeah, unbelievable. Let's get into some BS segment, Big Reed, the BS segment. Everybody loves the BS segment of the show. Let's talk about we went out last night.
Yeah,
late night. We wanted to go and we were in the mood for some Mexican food.
Yeah.
Me, you went out. Javier, and we had a few other people that came out with us. We went to a spot called Joselitos.
Yeah.
Joselitos Mexican food. What was your overall thought, Big Ree, of that place?
It was pretty good. It's solid spot.
A solid spot for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. The actual outdoor seating, they had it closed off because it was like kind of drizzling.
Yeah.
And it was cold, but that's a nice little outdoor spot out there. Go, maybe during the day or summer day, go have a nice Mexican meal out there. I'm definitely about that. But one thing I was going to ask you about the menu. So I got the enchiladas with the beans and the rice, and it was really good. And then I got it Mexican style, which they put on the guac, lettuce, and sour cream.
Right.
But I think the only thing that I would have liked to have a real Mexican style is they have that Mexican cheese.
Yeah.
Not the cheddar cheese. They put that Mexican cheese. I don't know what it's called, but that they put that on it. That was the only thing I would thought.
Sure.
But how were you happy with your burrito, Big Ray? You got a wet burrito.
Yeah, it was good.
So you'd go back?
Yeah, I'd go back.
I want to ask you, because you're a big horchata guy, okay? And what I've noticed is you go to these Mexican restaurants, and in LA, there's Mexican restaurants on every block, literally.
Yeah.
And now there's tacos, like the taco stands are everywhere. You can just go out and get tacos wherever you want. But the Mexican restaurants, I've figured out that a lot of I wouldn't call them high-end or fine dining or anything, but just the sit-down Mexican restaurants, a lot of them don't serve horchata.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Like, you would think that's a staple, right? Like a horchata is a staple.
Yeah.
You're a big horchata guy.
I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Because they didn't have it yesterday.
They didn't, for sure.
And some of these other ones, like El Cholo that we go to, they don't have it.
Yeah.
Some of these other ones, El Presidente and some of these other ones, they don't have horchata on the menu.
It's probably hard to make.
Maybe, yeah, it could be it, right? Like to make it look fresh. You're not just using the already, liquid. I don't know, I thought you might know. I just thought about that. And then dessert, so let's check this out. We went out for dessert. We went to 2 spots, Big Ree.
Yeah.
Went to a place called the Baked Bear.
Yeah.
Fresh cookies.
Yeah.
What did I get? I got a confetti cookie, which is basically a sugar cookie with sprinkles.
Right.
And then the second cookie was just a snickerdoodle. Can't go wrong. It was good. I liked it, but you're a bigger fan of Didi Reese.
Yeah, for sure.
So Didi Reese in the Westwood area, you like Didi Reese.
Yeah, no doubt.
Baked Bear was solid, but obviously way more expensive for sure.
It's I believe it's a franchise. I'm not 100%.
It is. They have multiple locations. I've been there a few times before, but yeah, that was good. But then check this out, boys and girls. So we were in the same shopping center as a Krispy Kreme. And Javi was like, dude, let's get some Krispy Kreme. Like, you guys can get some cookies if you want. That's fine, but I'm down for Krispy Kreme. Javi was big on the Krispy Kreme. So we're like, all right, let's go. I'm like down for a 2-for. We'll go to both. I'm getting the cookies and the donuts. We go to Krispy Kreme, and we got lucky because we went there. What time did we get there, Big Ree? Maybe
like 9.
Yeah, so 9. They had the light on.
Yeah.
So we'll tell these guys what the light means, Big Ree.
Light means the donuts are hot and you get a free donut.
So exactly. So you can, whenever there's the light on at Krispy Kreme, you go there and they'll give you a fresh glazed donut for free. Yeah. So we all got our free donuts. And then we saw that one dude. You remember that one dude?
He was carrying 3 out. I could not stop laughing.
This dude, Ree. I'm looking at Reeves. Ree is like sitting on the other side of me, and Big Ree just starts bawling out. Like he cannot control it, but he's like trying to control it. And then I'm trying to see what is he looking at, and then this dude was a pretty big dude.
Yeah.
But not that big. But he was a big dude. He came with it. Looked like he had his wife or his girlfriend or whatever. And they had a couple kids. 3 kids. And this dude's walking out. They got 2 dozen donuts, right? They had 2 dozen.
The wife was carrying the 2 dozen.
The wife had the 2 dozen donuts. And I think somebody in the group was like, oh, maybe they're going to a party. And I was like, I don't know what party at 9:30 on a Sunday night that he's carrying. I think they just wanted those donuts. But this dude took all the sample, all the fresh ones. He had like 3 in his hand, just going to town on the 3 glazes. And Ree's just laughing. Just imagine this laugh, guys. This Ree could not stop. But I gotta give him credit. They got the 2 dozen, but then he probably realized, look, I can get a free donut for me and all my 3 kids and the wife. I might as well get it, right?
Yeah.
They can't blame him there. Take the free fresh donuts.
Yeah.
But he was just just had them. And
it's always good fresh too. It tastes better.
It is. They do taste better, and I down mine.
Yeah.
They have a lot of fancy donuts, especially right now in the holiday season.
Yeah.
But I think you can't just beat the original glaze.
I agree 100% for Krispy Kreme.
Original glaze, and that's gonna that original glaze, Big Ree, is gonna lead to our question of the day, okay? Because we were discussing this on the ride back. First, how many on average, I want to know on average, how many Krispy Kremes are you eating in one sitting? Meaning, and I don't mean within a 5-minute period, a 10, 15, 30-minute period where you just got are you eating 1, 2, 3, 6, even a dozen? So I know people are eating a bowl. What's your average?
I'd say 2.
2. Okay, I would say mine's is 2 also. If I'm just I don't give a F, I'm probably going with 3. But 2 is my average. But I've heard stories about you, Big Ree, that you have eaten a lot. What's your most in one sitting?
I don't know.
What would you guess?
I think 18.
18?
In a 2-hour span. But this is my prime, 15 years ago.
In your prime, 18 donuts.
Yeah.
You don't play, Big Ree. Wow, I didn't expect 18. Wow. And Ree don't play around, guys. Ree don't play around. Somebody over in the comments, someone said I'm always bullying Big Ree. Somebody in the comments, Tanaka Jin, said I'm always bullying Big Ree. Look, if Big Ree gets upset, I'm running out of there. It's Big Ree don't play, boys. Big Ree don't play. So on that note, comment below, Krispy Kreme, what's your average? Average on one sitting. Let's get into some shout-outs, Big Ree.
Shout out to Eric Cohen from South Carolina.
All right, let's get a shout-out to Ken Eller. What up, Ken?
Shout out to Peep Joaquin.
Pepe Joaquin.
Pepe.
You got to pronounce Pepe, bro. Pepe ain't playing. Pepe Joaquin. I'll let you throw this one out, Big.
Shout out to Darlene Ricks, sorry.
Yeah, Darlene Ricks. I want to give a shout out to Tanaka Jin. He's the one that commented, I'm always bullying you, Big Ree, and you got to punch back.
Yeah. I'll let you do the last 2.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to Joe Ibrahim. Joe Ibrahim, a viewer, wanted to give a shout out to his nephew's pizza spot in San Francisco. I looked them up on Google. The place looked pretty fire. So hopefully when we get out to San Francisco next year, they'll take care of me and Big Ree. It's called Soma Pizza in San Francisco. So if you're in that area, check them out. And last shout out to Twana and her husband from Inglewood, California. Inglewood, always up to no good. And if you want a shout out, comment below. We'll get you a shout out. A lot of people are asking about the merch. There's a link in the description, but I did notice on the merch that our updated merch is not in the link with the Big Ree and Ace tag on there. So we're going to update that. Hopefully it'll be updated soon, but sometimes it does take some time to get processed. But those shirts are more fire with the Big Ree and Ace, logo and the YouTube logo. So we'll update those, but the merch is there. Get it for Christmas. Boys and girls, support the channel. Survivor picks, Big Ree. What's your survivor pick?
I'm going to go with the Cowboys over the Texans. They're minus 17.
Minus 17?
If they lose this one, good Lord to them.
Yeah, I agree. That's a safe pick.
They might not cover, but they'll win.
Yeah, that's a safe pick there. I'm going to go with Kansas City versus Denver. In normal weeks, I would say Denver, you never know with that defense, but they've thrown in the towel. They're so pissed. The locker room is fighting with each other. They're not winning against.
But it's so bad because they can't tank, because that pick goes to Seattle.
That's a very good point, Big Ree. They cannot tank. I mean, imagine that pick is going to Seattle. Is just loving it. Oh man, that's a top 5 pick?
Yeah, right now it's 3.
Wow. Seattle's adding a top 5 pick.
And Rams number 4 going to Detroit.
Going to Detroit. I mean, Detroit next year. Look, Detroit. I'm calling it right now, Big Ree. I'm going to Detroit game next year.
2023.
I'm going to Detroit game for sure. Gotta go to Detroit game for sure. I'm calling it. Okay. I gotta go, especially if they're gonna add another couple of nice picks. All right, boys and girls, enough with the BS talk. We're going to get into the docket, Big Ree. Anything else?
Let's go.
All right, so without further ado, here we go, boys and girls. Aquí vamos, chicos y chicas. Let's go. Game 1. We got the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. The Eagles are a 7-point favorite. Philadelphia 11-1. Coming off a 35-10 win versus Tennessee. They really beat up on that 31st ranked pass D. 380 yards passing for Jalen Hurts. 3-game winning streak for Philadelphia. Their only loss on the season is to Washington. They're 5-0 on the road, Big Ree. Philadelphia is. Really good road team. Next 3 games, though, are on the road, back to back to back. And look, MVP, Jalen Hurts is playing like an MVP. The guy is playing every week, he's performing. And I think A.J. Brown, that was a huge addition. You got a number 1 receiver, and then allows Devontae Smith to be a really good number 2. And I mean, Hurts is just playing good, as we said earlier, and his MVP to lose at this point. For sure. Then we got the Giants 7-4. They're coming off a 20-20 overtime tie versus the Commanders. They did miss a 58-yard field goal to possibly get the win there. They missed that. They're 1-3-1 in their last 5 games. After a nice start, they're not playing well as of late. Saquon Barkley has slowed down. Obviously, the O-line has some injuries, but this guy has not carried for over 3.8 yards per carry on average per game in only 2 of the last 7 games. So his yards per carry is really low. The defense is also struggling. I mean, the defense is not looking good either. And I like them to give up 30 points to Philadelphia here. I like Philadelphia to have a big 4th quarter. Because I think they're at home, the Giants, and they can keep it competitive. But I like Philadelphia to run away in the 4th. And I'm taking Philadelphia -7, game 2. We got the Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are a 6-point favorite. Cleveland 5-7, coming off a 27-14 win versus Houston last week. The offense played really bad. Run game was good. Run game looked good, but offense was not playing well, not punching anything in at all. They had 2 defensive touchdowns, a fumble return, an interception return, and then a special teams punt return. And that was the 3 touchdowns. But here's the thing. Watson, that's the big storyline, is Deshaun Watson returned. Did look rusty. 12 for 22, 131 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. What was your thought of, Watson?
What can you expect the guy? He hasn't played in almost 2 years, right? Or
That's true, yep.
What can you expect?
I think he'll be fine. He obviously, they got some weapons there. Peoples-Jones, Cooper. They got some nice, players, but it's the first game back and in a hostile environment, extremely hostile. Against the Houston fans were waiting to boo him. And so, hostile environment. Cleveland 2-game winning streak. They did beat Cincinnati 32-13 in Week 8.
Yeah.
Obviously, Brissett was the quarterback. Jamar Chase was out. Then we got Cincinnati 8-4. They're coming off a big 27-24 win versus Kansas City. They're currently on a 4-game winning streak, and they have won 6 of their last 7. They're looking good. Only loss in that stretch is to the Browns. But this is a good win versus Kansas City, but honestly, I'm not super impressed. Look, first of all, the running back, Pirine, he just went completely off here. Completely off against that Houston run D that was horrible. And not the Houston, the KC run D. He went off, really went off. I think he had 100+ yards. And then, KC did have that late fumble that led to the touchdown. They also missed a field goal to tie it. And so I'm not super impressed. Obviously, Jamar Chase is back. That's a big deal. This guy's a stud. 7 receptions, 97 yards. But here's my thought here. Houston has a better pass D than Cincinnati, and so that's why they made some trouble for Deshaun Watson there. I think I think Cincinnati wins this game. I'm not gonna say that I don't think the Browns are winning this game, but I think in the second half that'll be Watson about 6 quarters in.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna put up some points here. And I think they're going to cover. I don't think they're going to win the game, but they could if Deshaun Watson just goes off and plays like his normal self.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati's looking good. Give a shout out to Drew in Cincinnati. They're playing well, and I think they win this game. But I don't like them to cover the 6. And I'm taking Cleveland +6, Game 3. We got Carolina Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, 3.5-point favorites. Carolina 4-8, coming off a 23-10 win versus Denver prior to the bye week. They are 3-3 in their last 6 games, playing 500 ball. Quarterback Sam Darnold did play last week, started and played solid against Denver, against a good Denver defense, and he will be the starter again this week with PJ Walker back up. Running back Deontay Foreman, that guy is playing well, Big Ree.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, 4.5 yards per carry, 4 100-yard games in 7 games.
Yeah.
So, do you have him on your fantasy team?
No,
you weren't able to pick him up?
I tried to trade for him, but no one's budging.
That guy is good, and he played well. Was it last year with Houston?
Yeah.
I like his game. That guy is good, dude. But here's the kicker with Carolina. They are 0-5 on the road. This is a road game. Then we got Seattle 7-5, coming off a 27-23 win versus the Rams. That was my pick last week. I had the Rams +8, and they covered. Look, the offense played as expected for Seattle. 27 points is about right for them. But I was actually impressed with their defense. And you're like, dude, what are you talking about? They gave up 23 points. But they gave up 10 points the first quarter, and then they only gave up 13 in the remaining 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters, actually, the last 50 minutes. And I watched at the end because Rams had a chance, and that defense played well to stop them. And I was impressed. Geno Smith, I got to give you credit, Big Ree. Your boy Geno Smith, I was talking trash, but he continues to just perform.
Yeah.
I can't say anything. He's performing. The guy's throwing at a 72% completion.
Yeah.
How did you know this, Big Ree?
It's kind of like a system. He's in the system.
He's in the system, and he's playing good, man. Look, Geno Smith, I got to give him credit. I was knocking him, but I was wrong. Everyone wants to knock me that I'm not. I never say, hey, I was wrong about Josh Allen, but I'm still not on him. But Geno Smith, I was wrong. The guy is playing good. He's putting up numbers and he's playing good. And I think I like him to continue to play well. Running back Kenneth Walker is questionable.
That's freaking huge for my fantasy team. I was crying when I saw that.
So what do you think? Are you reading?
The way Pete Carroll talks, we don't know, we'll see. I hate that.
Yeah.
He's probably out. Good chance.
Good chance he's out, but that's going to really hurt them, man.
Yeah,
they need him to play. So I think, I read up, obviously, before I finalized this pick. I think he's going to play. I think he's going to give it a go. But that's really what I'm basing this pick on, too, is I think their backups suck.
Yeah, they do.
They got the guy Trey Jones. They got Homer. They got just some doozy. Yeah. Obviously, Penny's out for the season. But I think he's going to play. That's he's questionable. I think he's going to play. I think Seattle wins by this game by between 4 and 7 points here.
Okay.
I think this is a 24-17 game or a 24-20, 24-17, 27-20, 27-23 game. and that means they cover the 3.5. And this is my lock of the week, boys and girls. I'm taking Seattle minus 3.5. All right, Big Ree, let's go.
The first game I got is the Dolphins at the Chargers. Ooh. The Dolphins are laying 2 points. Dolphins coming off a 33-17 loss to the Niners, as Ace mentioned. Even with Jimmy G going out, Tua looked really bad. He was just off, and their defense got lit up. Tua had 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, threw a pick 6 at the end. Chargers coming off a 27-20 loss to the Raiders. I think I'm going to make this, and I know some people are going to get mad. I think Justin Herbert is a little bit overrated. Woo-hoo. Like he threw for 335 yards, okay, but he threw the ball 47 times. I hope you're going to throw for 335 yards if you throw it 47 times.
That's a good point, Big Ree. And I think he had, 59% completion last game. So
I think and then everyone's going to make the excuse like, oh, he's missing Mike Williams. He only has Keenan Allen. He's missing his weapons. Like, so what? If you're a great quarterback, you got to be able to deal with what you have. Mm-hmm. And Dolphins' defense is solid, and the Dolphins went up against a much harder defense, the Niners' defense.
That's true.
The Raiders' defense is not terrible, but it's not as good as the Niners' defense, not even close.
For sure.
And I think the Dolphins are going to blow them out here. Even though it's technically a Chargers home game, the Dolphins fans are going to be very big in this game. Chargers' D is banged up big time. And I'm taking the Dolphins -2 as my lock. The next game I got is the Vikings at the Lions. Vikings 10-2 coming off a 27-22 win versus the Jets. Lions 5-7 coming off a 40-14 win versus the Jags. Jared Goff played well, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns. Both teams are good and both defenses suck here. I mean, Kirk Cousins looked average. I was not impressed with the Vikings at all. They did win. A win's a win, but I don't know what's the spread. And I'm just, like I said, I think the Lions have an outside chance at this to make it, and they're very hungry. And I really like the head coach's press conference at the end. And I think this is a Vegas special, so I'm going to swallow the 1. I'm taking the Lions -1. The last game we got is the Jags at the Titans. The current spread is Titans -3.5. Jags 4-8 coming off a blowout loss, 40-14 to the Lions, as Ace mentioned. Titans 7-5 coming off a blowout loss to the Eagles. Titans' whole offense looked terrible. I mean, Ryan Tannehill, 141 yards passing. Derrick Henry, 30 yards rushing. Both offenses look bad. Trevor Lawrence, 179 yards, and he did have 32 rushing yards. Travis Etienne held to 54 rushing yards. Their highlight was Christian Kirk, who had 104 receiving yards. I think Tennessee is at home, and I think they're the better offense, better defense, and I think they cover this. I think Derrick Henry has a bounce-back game, and I'm swallowing the 3. I'm taking the Titans -3.5.
Bam. All right. Anything else you want to throw in, Big Ree?
Oh, just good luck. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Peace out, guys.